to the Path Show. I am your host, Jael Benjamin, and I am so excited to have my special guest here with me today, Joseph Barrett.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you. How's your heart? How you doing? How you feeling?
Hey, so I'm running a little bit late today, but I'm good.
Late? Who said that?
Hey, I don't know.
That's
what somebody said. Somebody said I was supposed to be at 2 hours.
What? We don't do that on the Path. You're always on time. You know what I'm saying?
We here.
He may not come when you want, but he come right on time. You are right on time. So let's jump right into it.
Okay.
Where are you from?
So originally I'm from Chicago. Born and raised in Chicago. I grew up in Savannah, Georgia, and then made my way here to Atlanta.
Oh, wow. So South, Midwest.
It's all of that. It's a little bit of country with a little bit of Southern swag with a little bit of ATL.
With a little bit of ATL. Savannah, how do you go from Chirac to Savannah to Atlanta? I mean, how did that transition happen?
So my mom married, and she married a military guy, and he was based in Savannah. And so when they got married, we had to pick up from Chicago and relocate to Savannah. And it was a tremendous adjustment to go from a melting pot of different cultures to down south where predominantly Black people sort of kind of like did their thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So you're a little bit, you have a mixture of everything.
Everything.
Country, I mean, Atlanta, you know how we get down. Down, right? You're a little bit of everything. So how did you break into the industry, television and film?
You want the truth or you want the unfiltered truth?
Oh, we want the truth. This is past.
So it's really interesting how this happened. Back in 2009, I was working with a hair and makeup stylist.
Okay.
So I would say like a hair guy and then a female makeup artist. They came to me and they were like, hey, we think you might be a good manager for us. We're working with somebody and we need your services. And I was like, what? Well, who are you working with? And at the time they said Nicki Minaj. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not familiar with her, but let's do it. Let's see where it goes to. And so the following week, I found myself doing and handling all of their business with Young Money, Cash Money, Pink Friday Productions. And from there, we worked together for 4 years.
Oh, my goodness.
And that took off.
Pink Friday. Who just went live at midnight.
Yeah.
What a time to be on Path, okay? This is divine. You didn't cross the path. So wait a minute.
Honored.
Before we even get there, how did your friends, you know, like your friends were like, hey, we think you would be good at this. What were some of the things that you were doing or operating in that space?
So at the time I was working at a telecommunications company as a manager and managing people. And it was just like the most crazy pivotal time in my life because I was maybe about 27, 28 years old. And I was just like, I graduated from college. I was like, I can't live the rest of my life doing this. I need to find out what it is about me that I love to do, you know, because we have the tradition of saying, hey, go to college, graduate from college, go get a job, go have a family, go out in the world and be great. And that tradition didn't necessarily work for me. I found myself in the workplace and I found myself in my 20s depressed. And so managing these people, I was doing a great job, or at least I would like to say so. And they came to me and they were just like, hey, well, let's go back. Let's zoom back a little bit.
Yeah.
I started creating a television show.
Okay.
And this television show, it was trying to discover the talent behind the talent. Yeah. So I know I'm used to seeing Wesley Snipes on the front of the camera, but who's his acting coach? Who's his manager? Who are the people that really fuel the industry behind the camera? And so when starting to develop this show, I met Terrence and I met a young lady by the name of Day Hill, and they were hair and makeup.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, hey, you know, you're putting together this wonderful television show, but we don't necessarily need you in this television show. We need you in a space where we're about to take off and do things that we never thought we would do, and we don't understand the business. Can you handle this for us? And I said, let's see where it goes. And we never parted ways for 4 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at hair and makeup right now. I mean, even that's just one space, but like the management of that, the branding, like you do somebody's hair one time, you could overnight.
Yes.
You're on the road.
Yes.
So business background. Did that come from school? I think you went to HBCU as well.
Yeah.
So
I graduated from Johnson C. Smith with a bachelor's degree in business.
Okay.
And that's where it developed at, you know, but I still always had a passion for the arts. And at the time, there was no sector to go into the music industry with like, hey, you know, study music and you'll end up at Def Jam, or, you know, it wasn't a respectable career. At least to my parents, it wasn't, and my grandparents. So they weren't having it.
Yeah. So if you could look at the camera and tell one person who's watching this show who may be in corporate America, who's thinking about transitioning out, you know, and just getting a little scared right there at the edge, what's one piece of advice you would tell them?
Follow your gut, follow your dreams, because you only have one time to live, and you only have one time to sort of kind of find the pathway to greatness. And if you find that pathway to greatness sooner than later, you'll live a very fruitful life. Yeah.
So what were some of the affirmations you told yourself when you got ready for that transition?
Is it the beginning or the end?
At the very beginning.
Where are we?
The beginning. So right when you left corporate and went to manage.
I was 27, 28. So, you know, at that age, I don't know, you know, what your age is, but I thought I had it all. I thought that I would be, it would be easy, because I found myself in not necessarily a traditional sense of someone that's breaking into the entertainment industry. I found myself managing a hairstylist and a makeup artist that was traveling the world, doing Pepsi commercials, on tours, covers of Vogue magazines, you know, at the Super Bowl. I found myself in the middle of this by mistake. Yeah. So I took it for granted. I took it and said, hey, look, I don't necessarily need this. I found my way. God has blessed me. Without coming up with a strategic plan of the hurdles, the ups and the downs. I felt like I was on top, but I was nowhere near the top. I was probably just down in the valley.
Yeah. You talk about those hurdles and valleys. What's one of those lower points in your career that happened to you that honestly pushed you the furthest after going through that experience?
I think that for me, it wasn't just one experience. It's been multiple experiences. In the entertainment industry, you could find yourself chasing dreams, and your dreams are not tangible. You can't go to the bank and deposit them or say, hey, look, this is the amount of money that I've invested, and I've wasted so much time. But the time that I wasted are lessons, if that makes any sense. And some of the things that I told myself was, I got this, I can do this. I'm the greatest motherfucker that's ever gone. You know what I'm saying? That's some of the things that I'm telling myself. And then when triumph hits, you're like, I wasn't anticipating this. Yeah. Where did this come from? Is this what my parents were talking about? Is this why they didn't want me to get into this? And then you watch the stories of Unsung on TV One, and you're like, well, shit. The blueprint has already been laid. So in order for you to be successful in this business, that I've learned that I have to remind myself is that time is precious, and that if we don't vibe and we don't have an energy that sing and dance well together, then we can't do business. Yeah.
So what's the last opportunity you said no to then?
Oh, gosh. I just said no to opportunity.
And it may not have been because it was bad or anything. It could have just been timing.
I'll say this. I'll give you an opportunity that I said yes to.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So most recently, I was working with a production company here in Atlanta, and we was preparing for a DMX project. That project was slated to schedule. It was in pre-production, started November, all the way into January. We was just sort of developing it. His team had given us the yes, it's okay, we want to move forward with it. And tragedy struck. And so that was, to me, one of the projects that I was looking forward to working on. And so I have a good friend that works over with DMX team. So it's just sort of kind of been, you know, a downer for her. And just trying to figure out like things like that. Situations like that happen. You can be gearing up for something and, life happens.
Yeah. So you have to be almost prepared for the unexpected all the time.
Yeah.
So how do we go from managing a makeup artist and a stylist to
Here we go.
television and film? Like what happened there?
So the story is this. So we worked with so many producers and music videos. Like Nicki constantly stayed busy.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that will always happen was people would love the hair and makeup and be like, hey, someone from Hunger Games would call and be like, hey, I think I saw this. Are you the person to get in contact with? Or, hey, I'm trying to dress up for Nicki for Halloween. And so I was interacting with so many people.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I decided that management wasn't the space for me, that maybe it was time to transition over to production.
Okay.
And so here in Atlanta, I was hired as a producer for a company called the Spice Group, which did a lot of the hip hop music videos based in Atlanta for the record labels at the time when the budgets are nowhere near what they used to be in the 90s, but even at that time, they were still really nice budgets. And so to kind of transition over from management over to producing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was the funnest set that you've been on? Like literally, you was like, this set experience is like none other.
I want to say T.I.G. shit.
Okay.
That video was turned up from sun up to sundown. And then I'm going to say the last video that I worked on was Tiger and Offset.
Okay.
Forget the name of the song. Gosh, I forget the name of the song. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Oh yeah.
What is it?
I know. Taste. Didn't get it. Yes.
Yeah. So that was a pretty dope set as well.
How do you continue to hone in on your craft as a producer? So like for people who are at home, like what does that tangible step look like for them?
So I don't think that there's a book to develop these set of skills. I think you either have it or you don't.
Okay.
It's like being in the presence of one of the greatest artists to ever do this. Either you have it or you don't. We see these people. We see the LeBrons. We see the Nickis. We see these people. And I think one of the things that any of the greats do well is that they seize the moment. And they know when the moment is happening.
Yeah.
And they kick down the door. And for me, it's always been to be sensitive to the energy that's around me and know when the moment is happening.
Yeah. So you're very observant then.
Yes.
You're like looking at everything going on in the room. You can tell this person's not happy. We need to get wardrobe out here. This needs to happen.
Absolutely.
This needs to happen.
Absolutely.
So what does your day-to-day look like? What does a day-to-day for you look like?
No day is normal. And no day is like the next day. It's always a different roller coaster. These days I find myself on cruise control, enjoying life, enjoying what family is, developing my own life. That's another thing. I found myself chasing dreams for so long that I didn't spend enough time cultivating who I am and who my family is and relationships. Those things are extremely important. And you find yourself, for me, I found myself at a young age compromising all of that for what my dreams were that I couldn't cash in.
So what are those practical steps? Like someone watching Path Show right now that they could take in order to become a producer, or that they may take this opportunity and find themselves in your shoes? So
I'm gonna give you what I feel is the best way to approach not just being a producer, but just being one of the greatest to ever do whatever you desire to be. And that is study.
Yeah.
Study. There is nothing new under the sun. Someone has already left a blueprint. Don't just jump into an industry without studying the greatest in the industry. If you want to be the greatest in basketball, who you gonna go study? You gonna go study Kobe. You gonna go study Jordan. It's all of those. If you want to be, anything. So for me, it's like study the greats, appreciate it, take from the book what you need and apply it and make it your own.
Yeah. A lot of times when you're making those transitions, you have to build those new relationships in the next industry that you're looking to be in.
Yeah.
And so for people who are looking to break into the entertainment industries, but they don't have those relationships, are there social clubs or outings that you may participate in that really helped you build your network?
No, so the one thing that this generation have right now is Instagram. Yeah. And I receive a lot of messages about, hey, can you help me? Can you do this? Can you do that? And networking is a big part of it.
Yeah.
But you have to walk in the door with a gift in order to be received.
Yeah.
Meaning that if I need assistance to get me from point A to point B or point Z, or if I need someone to pick up my bags, or if I need someone brought any of the greatest that walked in the space of entertainment, they've had to assist someone in getting to the top. And they understand how to amplify not themselves, but the people who came before them. Yeah. And so my advice would be mentorship, get a mentor, network, give without expecting anything in return, build the solid foundation that you can go in and make a deposit. You can go in and make a withdrawal for, excuse me.
Yeah. Would you say you have marbles today with people that you've yet to cash in?
I have a lot of marbles. I have a lot of marbles I haven't cashed in.
And do people have marbles with you that they can cash in? So people who are coming in behind you, like they can call you and say, hey, I'm somebody who's study with you or work with you, and they can cash you in.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
What's one person, if your phone's on Do Not Disturb, but you see their name pop up on your phone, that you are going to be like, hey, I have to pick up, regardless?
I don't think I'm there.
Okay.
I don't think I'm there. I used to be. I used to pick up the phone at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Right now, I can be considered an asshole, but my phone, once I'm off of work, I'm off of work. I'm not picking up the phone. Yeah.
What does self-care look like for you then during those times where your Do Not Disturb is on and you're off of work?
I am turning up. Turning up. I can't say too much about that, but I'm enjoying life.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying life. Yeah.
So does enjoying life include travel potentially, or?
So this pandemic is going on, man. I can't. I don't know if travel is in it, but I would want to get back to traveling. So prior to the pandemic, let me give you an insight. So prior to the pandemic.
Exclusive. This exclusive? Path exclusive.
I don't know if it is exclusive. It is exclusive. I'm giving you 3 exclusive. This is the 4th one. So prior to the pandemic, I was working as the casting producer for season 2 of Rhythm and Flow.
Okay.
And so that particular gig required that I travel all over the country, from Chicago to New York to Atlanta to LA, to find some of the dopest talent that haven't been discovered as of right now. And so when the pandemic hit, it sort of kind of everything just shut down. And what I realized is that I enjoy being still.
Yeah.
I enjoy being still. Like getting on a plane right now will probably give me a little bit of anxiety because in the last 12 years, this is the most that I've been still.
Wow. Yeah. What kind of lessons did you learn in your stillness? Other than that you like to be still.
I've learned so many lessons, man. Take time to enjoy what you have built is the biggest lesson that I've learned. Don't allow time to just go by and you not appreciate the family, the ones that you love. I isolated myself, not intentionally, but just because I was so busy. And now I look back at my nieces and nephews and I'm like, fuck. And then I'm like, where are my kids?
You're in middle school already?
Yeah, I'm like,
high graduation.
It's time. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And so I'm just learning. The biggest lessons that I've learned right now is just enjoy life.
Yeah, those birthdays hit different when they know what money is and the value of money. You can't just give $1 and be like, here you go.
Yeah.
Have fun with the cake. Yeah. So I'm curious, right? What questions are you asking yourself right now?
I'm asking myself, what's next?
Yeah.
What is the legacy? What have I worked so hard for? How can I give back? How can I make sure that a young Joseph Barrett that has the same drive, the same motivation, the same heart, don't have to experience the things that I've experienced coming through the entertainment industry, because it can be a dark place.
Yeah.
It can be a dark place.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you opened the can of worms though. But what is some of those hurdles or challenges that you've experienced?
My biggest hurdle is allowing people to disappoint me. You know, I come from a family that we mean what we say what we mean. And in the space of, and it may not just be entertainment, I just applied that theory to my experiences, but it can be a space where people can promise you the world and they never execute it, or they promise you the world and then a part of that world they are inclusive in it and they want the biggest part of the pie. So just those type of things, transparency, not letting anybody rob the God in you, the soul in you, to allow you to be the shell of just darkness, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So we did bring you to pass, and we have these lovely desks, right? And I don't know if they look familiar.
Yes.
If they're familiar to you, what is that one go-to item that used to be in your desk?
It was a pencil, and I would take the pencils, like, you remember the yellow pencils?
Yeah.
With the number 2 pencil.
Yeah.
And I would take it, and in the time that I was bored, I would just like write notes and just doodle and just be like, I get out of school at 3 p.m. This is what I'm gonna do. So this will be always the side that I would doodle on.
This is the side. And you have to go like this when the teacher walks by.
Right quick.
And cover it up. Yep. So of course people are gonna watch this past interview and they're gonna feel like, hey, I know a little bit more about Joseph that I didn't know prior to. Yeah. I know that he values his family and that is one of the things that he's looking back on to say, hey, I wanna spend more time with them. I know that he values his time.
Yes.
Values his time. He values mentorship and being able to have those people who are gonna lift you up and that you're also serving because servitude and servant leadership have been pushing him. Oh yeah. I gotta make sure I get a spark note. You know, for the people who ain't gonna watch the whole video on pass, we gotta make sure we give them the end. Yeah. So we've talked about where you've been, and we've talked about where you plan on going in the future, questions and things you're asking yourself. So what about now? What's happening right now? What are you working on?
So I'm working on something that's pretty huge. I can't give. Well, I want to say I can't give. I don't want to give too much information, but I find myself.
We need the sample, the mall sample.
I'll give you the sample. I am working at a nonprofit organization right now. It's called Ed Farm. Yeah. Ed Farm has a new initiative called the Propel Center, and the Propel Center is a Black tech hub for all of our HBCUs. Oh, wow. And so this is an opportunity where we shift the culture, we shift the needs of our institutions, but specifically the part that I'm working on is so big and so huge that I don't want to give any insight to it because the announcement is coming Juneteenth.
I'm at the edge of my desk. We're at the edge of our desk. So he couldn't tell us, but he did say brace yourself in so many words. So we don't know what's happening, but plan for the unexpected to come back on Pass. So here on Pass, we like to leave the audience with a few words, very short, quotable, Facebookable, tweetable statement. What statement would you want viewers to leave the show having?
So there is a book that I read called The Noticer. It's a book. You remind me of someone. I can't tell you who it is, but you remind me of someone. It's a book that I read called The Noticer by Andy Andrews, and she happened to give me this book, and she said to me, notice when someone is in your life to change your life. You know, so I'll leave you with, that's my quote, seize the moment and notice when someone is in your life to change your life.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Yeah. Y'all notice Joseph is coming through your TV screen right now to change your life. I need you to notice it. If you did not notice it, We brought it full circle for you. For viewers who are watching right now who don't know what a producer is, like me putting my student hat on.
Okay.
What is a producer? Like what do you do?
We putting our student hat on?
Yes, student hat on, breaking it down, ABC 1, 2, 3.
Copy. So production mode now. So producer is basically your project manager of production.
Okay.
So if we had the person behind the camera that takes care of all of the logistics, the manager behind the camera is the producer. The manager in front of the camera is the director. So all of the different moving parts that happen behind the scene, including finding the location, getting the location secure, hiring the casting director who's going to do all of the casting, finding the sets, hiring the contractors to build the sets, you know, getting everybody on board for this elaborate production. That is the job of the producer. And it takes a great producer that understands the temperament of people, interacting with people, the sensitivity of what may be, what triggers persons, and then also what motivates them. That is a great producer, and that's what a producer does.
How did you like know you wanted to be a producer? Because I know I was in business school. I'm like, I didn't hear nothing about producing. So like,
I didn't know.
How did you know that was what the role was called? I guess when did you first hear what you were doing?
I didn't know until I was on set and I started off as a production coordinator. And the coordinator was just, you know, it's still a very respected position on set. Well, all positions are, but the coordinator was I was just executing the logistics that the producer put in place to me. And I was just like, well, I don't like some of this stuff. Like this could be a lot better if I was in charge. And so I'm a Capricorn. So naturally I'm a born leader. So it's just like learning how can I do what they were doing and amplify it and make it a lot better. And so I learned on set that I wanted to be a producer.
Wow. So actually being in the role, almost, I would say interning.
Yep.
Interning in those roles.
Well, I ain't gonna say interning.
Look, he was getting paid. Okay.
Where my check at?
No, that is beautiful, y'all. This has been such a blessing to have you on the show. And there you have it, folks. This is our special guest, Joseph Barrett. I am so just thankful that you joined us. Humbled by your story. Like, what in the world? I need to find a mentor today. Like, ooh,
hey,
you know,
let's go. I got one for you.
Oh, y'all heard that exclusive? You've been dropping exclusives all show.
Yeah.
But again, my name is Jael Benjamin, and I am so excited to have hosted Paths. We will see you all next week as you tune in and get more golden keys.
I love it when you kiss.